What's good, y'all? This is Drip Man. We're here to talk drip sports today. For sure, man. All right, so let's get into it. So let's talk about the Aaron Rodgers trade from the Green Bay Packers. Obviously, it's been one of the more anticipated things that happened over a month ago. We're in the offseason, so of course it's speculation season. I mean, how big is this going to be? If you're a diehard NFL fan like myself, maybe you remember back in 2008 when a highly similar situation happened when the previous Green Bay Packer legendary quarterback was traded. Brett Favre was traded from the Green Bay Packers to the New York Jets. Same team Aaron Rodgers is going to. A lot of people, if you remember that year, a lot of people automatically think about the 9-7 finish and how the Jets missed the playoffs and Brett Favre threw 22 interceptions and just typical Brett Favre or whatnot. But just in terms of the ending, but a lot of people forget, man, the Jets were rolling at one point. They were 8-3. They were coming off of a victory against the Tennessee Titans, who I think were like 10-0 or 11-0 or something like that at that point in time. And they had beat them like 34-13 by a few touchdowns, and they were on like a 6-game winning streak. And suddenly at that point in time, after them going 8-3, they were a very trendy pick to maybe win the AFC. Are they the most talented team? Eric Mangini's a great coach, and they look so smart for bringing in Brett Favre, all that stuff. And then of course it crashed and burned. But that's the past, and what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers this first season. Of course, the New York Jets, they have, guys like Garrett Wilson, who won the Rookie of the Year. He had 80-plus catches, 1,100-plus yards. I think he flirted with 10 touchdown receptions. I don't think he officially got that. Again, I believe he won Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year last year. Certainly deserved it. The Jets have not seen a caliber of receiver like him probably since Brandon Marshall played for them, like 8 years ago or something like that. And to be honest, he might even be more talented than what B. Marsh was. So certainly have a cornerstone piece there. Breece Hall, running back. Of course, he's another young player. Looks very talented. I know he's coming off of an injury. I saw that the most up-to-date reports on him, they're hoping that he'll be back in time for week 1. And even if he is, he'll probably take a little bit of time to gel in what's a brand new offense. Nathaniel Hackett, the new offensive coordinator, he's coming to install a new scheme, on top of just playing with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, which really is very detailed, really very involved. We all know he likes to really milk the play clock down to 1 every single snap. And the reason why is because he's making a lot of adjustments on the fly. And so it really takes a lot of, I think, game time and experience to just kind of get on the same page as him. And, if you're not on the same page as him, you're not going to see the field. I mean, that's just point blank, period. So Hall, again, another guy to look out for. And I think, as the season progresses, we'll probably see his impact, a bit more. The Jets already had signed some wide receivers that Aaron Rodgers is familiar with, just in anticipation of getting him. So they got guys like Allen Lazard, who to me, he's a very average wide receiver in terms of his pass catching ability. This comes from watching the Packers closely. I'm a big Packer fan, so I've watched them. Allen Lazard, he's been here 3, 4, 5 years, something like that. Been a major contributor over the past 3. Last year, he's coming off of a career high where he caught, 60-some catches, around 800-ish yards. I think he might have had 8 touchdowns or something like that. With his 6'4", 200-plus pound frame, he's definitely has the gift of height and like I said, a bigger frame. You can kind of use that frame to shield defenders away. Decent route runner. I think his biggest thing is he does have good hands. I mean, he's not overly athletic, like he doesn't have that breakaway speed. He's not necessarily an elite route runner, but with his combination of size, fluidity in and out of his breaks, and his hands, like I said, I mean, you throw it up in his vicinity, he's most likely going to come down with it. He did have a couple rough games, especially last year, ironically, against Sauce Gardner himself, his newly minted Defensive Rookie of the Year teammate. He did struggle against elite corners such as him last year. So again, Alan Lazard, is he like a splash? He's not an elite. He's not an elite splash. He's really signed more to be a guy that Aaron Rodgers can have comfortability with, and hopefully provide really some stability instantly out of the gate. And also a guy to kind of help guys like Garrett Wilson just kind of learn the offense and things like that. So I don't have huge expectations out of him. I think he's going to be more of that 40-50 catch guy, true to form like he was in Green Bay. Really, I think more the upside of Alan Lazard. He brings a lot of value in the blocking game and the running game. He's a very, very solid in that area. I think he's probably in the top half, top 16, if you want to talk about the top 32, top 60. Let's say the top 64 wide receivers in the league. Let's put it like that, because you have two starters on each team. Alan Lazard is definitely in the upper echelon of that. Just in terms of blocking, so he definitely brings value there. Of course, Randall Cobb came over. I don't see that as anything more than a guy who's going to help the younger players learn. Randall Cobb is coming off a 28 catch season, 25 catch season. You know what I mean? He's not producing like he used to. He's definitely older. He doesn't get in and out of his cuts as good anymore. He's more of a 5 to 8 yard, kind of wide receiver. I don't think he's going to make any huge plays or anything like that, but like I said, I definitely get why you would do that, for sure. So really that wide receiving core, you're gonna have to probably give them a B. They definitely see the potential there, but are they elite? I'm not so sure. You know what I mean? Especially when you look at Aaron Rodgers this past season, he had a guy like Christian Watson who, is he as good as Garrett Wilson? I'm not saying that, but he definitely boasts elite athleticism. Definitely has that big playability that we saw come on towards the end of the year. And honestly, it's because Aaron Rodgers had to start throwing him the ball. I mean, they were 4-8. Why not just start throwing him the ball? You know what I mean? But I really, as I watched the Packers last year, I thought Christian Watson's development was kind of hurt, not only by his own inconsistencies with drops and injuries, but also because Aaron Rodgers he's not going to throw you the ball. You drop the ball once, you run the wrong route once, all of a sudden Aaron Rodgers, he's not going to really try to build you back up and throw you the ball. I thought that was one thing that separated Brett Favre from Aaron Rodgers. He's going to keep throwing you the ball, and really, you're going to get a chance to get your confidence back up. I mean, a lot of times that's what these younger receivers need, is more opportunities to really prove themselves. And so one of the challenges of working with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers is you might not have a whole lot of opportunities to prove yourself, and in the long run, that's going to hurt the team. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I think that there's a high chance, a high propensity for that, especially as you look at the fact that Aaron Rodgers is working with an entirely new set of wide receivers for the first time in his career. Considering, like I said, Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb likely won't be huge contributors. So I'm just very curious as to how he's going to respond to that. Aaron Rodgers being the perfectionist he is, he's not going to throw you the ball, and that, like I said, that could hamper the development and the potential of this wide receiving group, especially early on in the season. So I don't anticipate there being huge fireworks like how a lot of people do. I think the more exciting thing about the trade for Aaron Rodgers, if I'm looking at it from the Jets' perspective, is, they're anticipating having an elite defense this year. If you look at the Jets last year, it really did seem like, with the way that their defense was playing, they literally just needed a quarterback who could just play average. You know what I mean? Like, if you can just throw a touchdown every game to 0 picks and maybe average 7-8 yards per attempt, we might, they probably would have pulled out 10 wins. And so they're thinking here is that the defense is going to continue to play on that same level as they did last year. And if they are able to continue that elite level of play, then I could definitely see this being a fruitful season for them. I don't know if it is going to put them into championship contender status, but it'll certainly put them into AFC East winner, and potentially AFC contender status. My prediction, I think they'll probably be a 10 or 11 win team. They'll be exciting. I think at the end of the day, though, that running game definitely has things to prove. I think, it's going to, in my opinion, it's going to take Aaron Rodgers more than just 1 year to master this system. It's not going to be a magical year. I think if he decides to come back and play 2 years, I could see next year being that year for them. This year, they're definitely going to, likely be an AFC wild card. Aaron Rodgers will put up some solid numbers. He'll have some pretty good moments, as long as he stays healthy all year. But I think ultimately there's going to be, a little bit of finger pointing at the beginning of the year where he's going to say, hey, the young receivers aren't doing what they need to do. They'll start off slow, 3-3, 3-4, something like that, and probably finish the year strong, 10-7, 11-6. And probably lose by a field goal or something like that in their first playoff game, kind of like Aaron Rodgers did in Green Bay for so long. So thumbs up to the Jets. If you guys want to see my breakdown on how this is going to affect Jordan Love and my predictions for them, stay tuned. Drop them comments. Tell me how y'all feel about this Aaron Rodgers trade. Will it be successful? How is he going to perform? How will the Jets ultimately perform? Did the Jets win this trade? Did the Packers win this trade? Lay it on me. Make sure you smash the like. Make sure you subscribe too, man. Show your boys some love. We working. Drip Sports, we out.